stream live now. Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, the podcast, is now being broadcast on NPN Voice. NPN Voice can be found on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud, and now on Audible and Amazon Music, and anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, the podcast, now on NPN Voice. NPN Voice. Got voice. You heard?
Suave afternoon, Suave afternoon, Suave afternoon. This is Brother Suave, your mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening on-air personality, life coach, psychotherapist, author, and creator. Hope you guys having a suavelous day.
Yeah, and with that, let's commence the pay. Okay, I'm so suavelous, you so suavelous. Together we can fix the trauma that's befallen us. Divine social interactions remains marvelous. Mind-blowing, suavelicious talk, higher consciousness. But think, let not your hearts be troubled. Dr. Brother Suave, divine light give you double.
Greetings. This is Dr. Brother Suave, your mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening on-air personality, life coach, psychotherapist, author, and creator, and your host of Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave. It's a wonderful and beautiful Wednesday, March 15, 2023. Man, it has been a great week for me. I have had a amazing, Suave-tastic, and a Suave-rific week. Daughter came in town, spent some time with me, man. It was just time I've just been waiting on this, and it's just really we had a great event. I did some posting on my social media platforms. It just was a wonderful experience, man. It has been some time coming, but I'm blessed. I'm happy. I'm thank God for waking me up to see a day I've never seen before. I thank God for allowing me another day to get it right, and another day to tell my friends, people I love and respect, I love you. And so today, man, I'm just just being blessed. And I just also want to give a special shout out to my auntie. She had a birthday a couple of days ago. My aunt Patsy Francis, man, she's a great aunt. She's always been supportive to me. And I just want to give you a shout out, Aunt Patsy. Okay, so tonight, man, we're going to be doing our annual Black Man's Dialogue. And our topic today is the Black Man's Dialogue called, it's going to be featuring a general, aka Father of Six, and also I have another guest, Mr. Vanlis Lee. Hopefully he can get through. If he don't, well, the show must go on. So anyway, our topic is going to be talking about positive Black man images, and we want to see more positive Black men in the family, and having more positive lights on the family, because again, I believe there has been an ongoing plot or I guess an ongoing agenda to exploit Black families, Black men, and always showing us in a negative light. And so unfortunately, it's been going on for years in the media. So it's not always the others completely their fault, but however, they are in charge of our laws, our government, and the media. So they do have to take a level of responsibility, because a lot of times things go on and within a community or behind closed doors, and that's not always for everybody to see, because people have sex, but that's something that you shouldn't just have on television. So again, but when people have control of the media, the laws, and so on and so forth, they tend to show the negatives and not necessarily the positives, because again, there are some great things about the Black families, Black men, Black women, and things in our contribution to this country as well as this world. So tonight we're going to be talking about it. We're going to be talking about the positive things that Black men do, because this is a Black Man's Dialogue, and our ability to show strength and fighting against the society, these so-called projected images of that we're weak, shiftless, and are criminals and everything, and that's just not the case. So we're going to share and talk about our own independent philosophies and perspectives, myself and my respected guests, and so again, we're going to be talking about this because the images of us and how they've been portrayed is just necessarily accurate, and the lines have been really blurred. So tonight I'm going to talk about just get ready to bring in my guest because I definitely go on. So my guest is he's known as a general, but also a father of six, father to six. He's an international fatherhood influencer, a podcast host, a blogger, inspirationalist, life coach, and continuous student of life who explores the unmapped complexities of fatherhood and life by offering stimulating thoughts to cultivate actions that positively impact fatherhood, manhood, family, humanity, and life, with ultimate goal of leaving a long-lasting legacy for future generations to inherit and build upon. So without further ado, let's welcome the General, father to six.
What's going on? What's going on? Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Blessings
man,
and abundance. Yes. Long time viewer, big fan.
Thank you.
Always wanted to say that. It's a true story though. How you doing?
I'm doing suave-tastic, my brother. Yes, man. Listen, this brother, man, a powerful young brother. And one thing, as the older you get, you become wiser, and that's the order. And what I've noticed, this young man, that I've learned from so much, he's always edifying, but he has. Well, I will honor his discernment, so he knows that I learned so much from him, and I'm appreciative to him. He has some great perspective, views, and I honor him. It's not always the age that counts, but it's the wisdom from both sides. The wisdom that you're learning from him, and the wisdom to know that he may have that it factor that I can learn from that can change my life. And so I thank you. I just want to tell you that face to face. I appreciate you, man. I always have since day one. When we met. And the funny thing is, our engineer brilliance, the success architect, when we all used to do our shows together, man, it was just really a great experience. And so I just want to tell you, man, this, y'all don't know, but we've been doing this a minute. Before I started social therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, and we talked about this, and then it manifested, became a reality. So this is something that I wish that would happen, and I'm glad it did.
Me too. And let me just say this too before we start. It's an honor to be seen in this light, because you can't give yourself these honors or place these titles upon you. Other people have to see you do the work to see you this way. So I'm just honored to be able to be seen in that light. So thank you for that, because a lot of times in our community, we don't uplift each other like that. You know what I mean? And it's not shown. It's not that we don't do it. It's not shown all the time. You know what I mean? We do it because it's done right here. It's just not shown all the time like it should be. So exactly. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you.
And that's one of the things that inspired me to even talk about these shows, because I just, like, a lot of times my coaching, my dialogue, my events, my books, and when I'm doing events, a lot of ladies say, well, where these guys are? I said, man, I don't know where your energies lead you to, because all my friends are successful. All my friends are real G's, and I'm talking about G's and gentlemen. Real, my friends are people who are doing some great things. I don't know how you keep running to schmucks and irresponsibility people. Maybe it's something that you need to evaluate in yourself, because I don't know how they keep running to people who they say, none of these dudes, you know how sometimes we, in our culture say these ends ain't sugar, honey, iced tea. And I'm like, God damn, how come I keep running? I said, if I was a female, shoot, I'd be like trying to make a choice and all the kind gentlemen that I have in my space, because that's what all I have in my space. So the reality is, again, they exist, but somehow they're not acknowledged, or people don't want to show them. And so on tonight's topic, we trying to have more positive Black male images. And this is something I'm trying to talk about. And that's what I'm very happy that I'm on this platform to be able to discuss. I wanted to give a special shout out. Thank you, Brother Frederick Jones. Listen, you never going nowhere, brother. You always right here. You my brother. And we already talked about that, Fred. So, see, one thing about it is, it's not about perfection, Fred. It's about progress. And at the end of the day, even if you don't make every show, and you have consistently made the majority of the shows, so when you're missing one or two, man, I'm not even stressing it, because you have showed your support. And again, it's not about perfection, but progress. And again, if you missing it, you have a reason. So I'm not going to even think about considering questioning you. I just thank you for your support. And so, General, I just want to tell you, man, I'm happy. So again, as I was talking about the shows, I personally believe, like I was saying in my commentaries, that I'm not going to sit there and say it's all the others' fault, but they are in control of the laws. They are the ones who control the media. They're the ones who has this much power, because I guarantee, as we know, and I'm not going to go into details, if you say anything about a particular group, you're canceled. But those are the ones who are in charge of the media. But guess what? We can show media dealing with exploitation of black men, making us look feminine, making us look unintelligent, making us look weak, shiftless, followers and not leaders. And also they can show us killing each other, saying all kinds of N-words towards each other, but we dare not say anything about any particular group, else we're canceled. And then bam, remember now, I said who's in charge. So guess what? Since you're in charge, you shut it down.
But that just sounds like what we've been going through from day one.
Absolutely.
Since they've been printing it in the books that we see now. So just to give the viewers, a more practical view, defining positive black images and explaining why they're important is this. Like, positive black images refer to the representation, how it's being represented of black men in media, like you just talked about, popular culture. And when I say popular culture may not be popular 20 years ago what it is right now. We can have TikTok, what we have right now. We have Instagram and order everything we have right now. Back in the early 1900s. So popular culture and society that counters negative stereotypes and highlights their strengths, achievements, and contributions. So all these images portray black men as complex, multifaceted individuals with diverse talents and passions and experiences. All of those are not really seen and pushed to the forefront.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So black positive images are important for several reasons. I'm going to give you one right now. They challenge the harmful and persuasive stereotypes that we historically been put on us. You know what I mean? Used to justify discrimination, justify discrimination. Like, this is why I'm discriminating. Okay. Inequality. This is why I'm not going to treat this person equally. Okay. Against black men in particularly. Negative stereotypes of black men they portray them as violent.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Portray violent. So now when you see a black man, you're like, oh snap, let me cross the street. You know what I mean? Let me grab my purse. Black men don't want anything in a woman's purse. At the end of the day, a real black man don't want nothing in a woman's purse. Nothing. You know what I mean? Also, a criminal aspect. They portray us as criminals. All we do is do criminal stuff. We break the law all the time. Uneducated, stupid, dunce. You know what I mean? Portraying and pushing forward these systematic racism and prejudice. You know what I mean? So overall, black men images or black positive images, on the other hand, offer an accurate representation, what a real black man is. And I'm saying real because they've been having all this fake stuff out here. You know what I mean? Pushing all the fake. So what a real black man is and how unique a black man is with his talents and his experiences and his qualities and who he actually is for real.
Absolutely. And the funny thing is, for real, we know reality is good and bad. That's reality.
Absolutely.
But somehow they tend to dismiss the positive reality that we're great, we're smart, we're providers, and we're leaders. We're kings. That's the part. It's just like when they're very strategic in creating history, they want to leave out that we came from kings, but they want to present in history that we were for slaves. And this is the thing. And so when you look at the control of the media, again, they look at it as fools, killers, criminals, uneducated, immature. And one of the things I want to give a special shout out, rest in peace, for Miss Esther Roll, her advocacy for having a black man in the family, regardless of socioeconomic status, she advocated for that. But one thing, and also a very, very a dear friend, like an aunt to me, Jo Marie Payton. I mean, having a complete family. And again, this is what I'm saying. Anytime even down to when we look at young brother Jonathan Majors, Bluster doing some great films and doing great. I mean, his films are on point. When he was the only pilot that was black, all the stuff, the images, and then they want to come right back and make and destroy what we worked so hard for. So the same thing, when you're looking at Good Times, you're trying to have a family that's intact, trying to have a family that's a strong man, as in James Evans, a provider, make sure he protect his family. He did everything he could to make sure his family was on point. A protector, a provider, a leader. And then media, they decide to incorporate the buffoon, JJ. So now JJ, the ratings go high because of the buffoon, but then it offsets the storyline of having a great family who may be going through hard times, but they changed, but they made it good because they have a positive outlook on life. And then you have the same thing when you have a great productive family and Family Matters. You have a brilliant mother, a brilliant father, family, and the family is just very supportive. They supported their grandmother, her best friend, and they was very a supportive family. But then here it is, they found some way to incorporate the buffoon and Steve Urkel. You understand? And so what happens is, again, they find some way to have a black man as a buffoon, to offset the positive things in us and the seriousness and how we prioritize. I saw you laugh. What was your thoughts?
You're right. You know what I mean? And then we get sidetracked with the laughter. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But the subliminal messages is being planted in the subconscious, which is dangerous. You know what I mean? So you got these pillars in the community, right? For instance, Carl Winslow, pillar in the community.
Yes.
You know what I mean? One of the, and from when I watched the show, he seemed like one of the only black cops in that town. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Maybe one other two, but pillar in the community. Everybody knows him. Everybody knows that they're accomplished. And then you got this one character right here who's outside of the norm of what that family's supposed to be portraying.
Yeah.
So and it's sidetracked, and then they over identify him as a buffoon or buffoonery. You know what I mean? Before we even had the term of ODing, you know what I mean?
Yes.
OD, you bump into something, everything just collapses and goes crazy and haywire.
JJ,
you know what I mean? Right. It just
Urkel. Yeah. And the funny thing is, but guess what? It just hit me just now. Okay, what just hit me now? The Fresh Prince. It was a reverse, because if you look at the affluent, what's the Uncle Phil?
Uncle Phil.
And again, you remember how he stood in the paint for his family when was Carlton and what's name was being discriminated against and targeted.
Yep.
Again, we want to have the images, but those are exceptions. Consider the buffoonery of Will Smith. That's a great show, but the bottom line, I'm looking at the stability and the strength and the positive things that families can do, and they always find some way to have a buffoonery. And also, you remember on Family Matters, remember when he didn't initially believe his son when he was getting targeted by the police, and he stood in the paint. So when we, when you write more episodes of have black men are being strong and supportive of handling their business, we need to acknowledge that. But again, we find some way to incorporate that buffoon and have us look. And so again, the people who have these who in control of the media, they always find some way to have our families without the father being in the household. And also, they just also do any and everything they can to have images. Same thing with the dress. They always trying to film. Oh, my brother. Okay, look at him. Oh man, look at it.
Right on time.
Yes,
right on time.
Exactly, right on time, man. And again, always trying to have images of us, and or having us look effeminate, having us look sensitive, unintelligent, uneducated, and also not being able to handle conflict. And speaking of that, check this out. Again, when men have discussions, remember they don't see. You guys know. I always put an emphasis on the difference between a man, a grown boy, and an adult male. Men can disagree, have a situation where It's a little tense, but guess what? This is what they do. What we do. It's over. We don't sit there and stop and be into our feelings because we know that that's just a temporary emotion, and emotions are something you don't trust because they block your ability to be sensible, rational, logical. But with men, we can deal with it. Even just prior to the show, me and the brother I told him I was gonna mess with him. I told him I was gonna tell everybody, but at the end of the day, we had a little bump heads. But guess what? You think me and his brother gonna let a bump head that was only less than 5 seconds make him not show up and do everything he can to show up and make me change my mind about having him on it? No, it doesn't work that way. Because this is what I'm saying. Because guess what? Remember how you said at the beginning of the show? They don't show this. They're always showing us getting mad and killing each other. But they need to show how we can get into conflict and address that conflict and become solution solvers and move forward. And I just want to tell you, thank you, brother, for showing up.
Much love, man. You know I gotta come through for you, bro. You know, hey, you know, Opalaka in the house. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Oh, by the way,
hey.
The young man, Brother Vanlis, grew up down the street from me, and I used to always watch that young man. And I'm gonna tell you, anybody know me from the Opalaka, ain't no way in the world I'm gonna see some youngster that I'm not gonna sow into their life. I've been like that from day one. If I'm gonna go and remember I said about wisdom and the fool rejects wisdom. So anytime I'm saying something to somebody and they fight against me, they show me they're a fool. Because this young brother, every bit of information that I shared with him, because even if I was wrong, my heart was in the right place and he listened, and his wisdom was able to decipher and see where my error was, and we can even have that dialogue. And I just want to tell you, man, you know, so I'm sorry about over talking, but can you briefly tell the people about yourself, General, and then we'll go to Vanlis.
Yes, my name is the General, father to 6. I'm a teen dad. Had my first child, just turning 16. You know what I mean? Had my second child, just turning 18. A third child around 2021. You know what I mean? Teen dad. You know what I mean? In that stereotype, in the statistic, I'm a number. You know what I mean? But I'm a different type of number because I made it. I've raised all my children from the time they came out the womb to where they at right now. You know what I mean? We always seldomly have dinners every time we come together. You know what I mean? Going through divorces and still being there. You know what I mean? Putting in the work that's not shown on TV. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I just want to encourage and inspire, you know what I mean? And give an example to those who are teen parents, teen dads who, damn, you know what I mean? You didn't have the guidance. You didn't have, you know what I mean? You ain't listening. You know what I mean? And now you in the role. You see what I'm saying? Now you wearing the robe. You see what I'm saying? So what you gonna do from here? You know what I mean? And you can do it. You can do it. Long as you don't give up, because no matter what age you are, you got wisdom or whatnot, but it's all about consistency. You know what I mean? And the strength of a man who endures. That's a real man. Endurance. You know what I mean? When it's tough, when it's easy, you know what I mean? When it's slippery, when no one's looking, you know what I mean? So I just want to give that out to those who may not have it, or you know what? It's believable when you see it for real. You know what I mean? So this is what I'm doing to kind of, you know, overshadow the stuff that's being out there. You know what I mean? Just telling people the story, because you know what? Yeah, you can write a good script, you can write a good story, but when you hearing that soul, that passion, that you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It just hit differently.
It does. And again, it's never about perfection, but progress. As long as you stay consistent and moving forward, that's what counts. Because
absolutely.
You can be going straight A's and just drop off.
And we all do. We all have a valley, a peak. We all have a period where we, damn, bro. I even know how I got here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a lot of times where we took the wrong turn, or it just looked like it something different. So you know what I mean? It's about keep going, keep pushing, consistency.
Yeah. Absolutely. Vanlis.
Hey, peace, everybody. How you doing? Mr. General, how you doing? My brother Suave, Dr. Brother Suave. We go way back to Opalaka, you know, before he was called Dr. Brother Suave. You know, just, you know, he's been a personal influence in my life. But yeah, my name is Evangelist Lee, and currently I reside in Jacksonville, Florida. Originally, I'm from Miami, Florida, and up here in Jacksonville, um, like I said, uh, Rob Suave R. Walker, Dr. Brother Suave R. Walker, has been one of the brothers that has been a deep influence in my life, because I didn't have really many influences on a male perspective um, in my life as from a kid to growing up. Um, I know they say that it takes a man to raise a child, but my grandmother and mom, I had a stepdad, but he wasn't a father to me, you know. But uh, male examples like Dr. Brother Suave and other examples of exceptional excellence that I came across in my path in life are giving me the blueprint for myself toward my own path to greatness in life. So that's where I am right now. I'm 46 years old. I don't have any kids. So I'm single, never been married. So if any lady listen, how you doing? but just had to throw that out there. But yeah, man. Yeah, y'all on point, man. The media has been definitely portraying us in a negative light, and it's always the N word or slave or gangster or drug dealer, prostitute, sex, and they don't show our who we are really. They don't show the kings and queens of our history that needs to be exemplified and shown, just like Black Panther did, and no one says this, but you notice when you watch the first Black Panther or the second Black Panther, no one has been called the N-word. If you pay attention, nobody says that in that movie at all. Neither one of them. But in our music, in our lifestyle, in our habits, we have to really dig deep to really recognize who we are. But the social structure of how we get our information doesn't come from us. It comes from another source, which is I'm gonna go ahead and say it, Caucasian, a white man source. That's who controls the information. So when you get brothers like Brian Allen, or Byron Allen, my fault, Bill Cosby, people of that example trying to get something so they can put information out there that we can use as melanated beings and show who we are. But we're not gangsters, we're not pimps, we're not hoes, we're not homosexuals, really. Because that's a whole different history lesson, but you have to dig deep for yourself, and find out what resonates with you. And then when you do that, you find your own answers, because everybody's path is different. So as moving forward, you just have to keep growing. And as Dr. Brother Suave has seen me over the years, yes, I've grown and I've gotten wiser, and I'm still learning. Only a fool knows it all. So in my life journey, I will still keep learning, keep rising. And I've come up with a saying: ascension is vital, transcendence is inevitable. So we have to be mindful for the future. As General, as you stated, you have kids. Of course, you are a shining example to your kids to show them who they are, and to give them that shining example of manhood, and make sure they elevate up to, the highest potential that they can be. And I want to add also, like I said, I'm Jacksonville, I'm a small businessman. As Dr. Brother Suave knows, I cook part-time, trying to turn to a full-time business, do from culinary delight. We call in Miami, we have conch salad, pork sauce, chicken sauce, things like that. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, so that's what I'm bringing to the table as we speak. So, Brother Suave,
I'm
Yeah,
glad.
man. I'm trying to get it together, man, because you know I'm an emotional person, and you know, as the young king speaks, I'm just internalizing so much, um, because you guys, you know, may this first time you're seeing him on social therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, but as he speak, I'm just processing the young man when he was a kid, man. You know, and I'm able processing the times that anybody know me. If I operate as an elder when it
Mhm.
comes to my young, and I would check you, and my check is respectable, but it's my obligation to say, hey, son, young man, king, brother, hey, I don't, I recommend against this. I don't think this is a good idea, and I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna break it down and explain it, and and for me to hear him talk right now, I've seen the man, I've seen his growth, I've seen his acceptance, I've seen him accept redirection, I've seen him the information that I share with him, and it turned back and he was able to redirect me. This is why it's so important, it's so positive seeds into people's lives, because you're gonna need that when you fall off, because all of us fall off. Like you were saying, General, we have our peaks and valleys. So I could be in an emotional state that I may be going through a crisis and not necessarily thinking and being on point and being emotional, because, like, you know, emotion blocks our ability to be sensible, rational, and logical. So I just want to share this story. I was just going through something, man, and I was just trying to. My sense of urgency was exaggerated because the emotional state I was in, and so I didn't really consider the situation because I was just so tunnel vision on getting what I needed to do because I was at an emotional state. And the brother was actually in the hospital. He was in the hospital dealing with something serious. And here I am calling and calling, and he's saying, man, I'm in the hospital. And again, me being an emotional state, I just basically didn't hear a word he was saying other than focus on my goals. And the man telling me he's in the hospital. And I even called back. And so here it is, me being inconsiderate. But again, I told you, men learn how to handle situations a lot different. So when he finished his thing, I guess a couple of days or whatever, he shared me with the situation. And again, integrity, character, stuff they don't show. I accepted his redirection. I accepted him saying, hey, bro, what were you thinking? You know, that was selfish and this and that. And anybody knew me, I'm not gonna make an excuse. You 100% right. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. I was going through something. And guess what? His character, his empathy, his compassion, he'd be like, you know what? I understand it. Because that's not how I'm consistently am. It was an exception. So when we have brothers that we hold in the highest esteem, we got to realize we all gonna make mistakes. We're gonna fall off. But we realize that's who we are. We ain't constantly people who are messing up. And that's the thing that society does not want to put out there. The same thing they want to put all these other images. Have you been seeing I can't say it's LB images. Oh, it said a white person knows that there's always more to learn. Absolutely. Again, and again, one thing I'm gonna tell a brother, the one thing I'm adamant about is never being adamant about anything, because I'm always going to grow. I'm always going to learn, and my perspectives may change and get enhanced because I have more information in me, and I have more leadership. I have more guidance and more information to give me a different perspective and change maybe a philosophy of mine. So again, oh man. And so speaking of these positive black male images, I want to get some insight from you too. What I noticed, like the images here in America, is like the lines are constantly being blurred. And so in other countries, they don't allow that. They keep their men having their images the way they image, and they have the women that looking at them. We're not talking about looking down or inferior, superior, but what I'm saying is, like in Japan, they make it illegal to present their men as feminine. Now, this is, I just want to hear y'all perspective, because I don't want anybody know I'm not doing any bashing. Just like when they was talking about when I was holding ladies accountable, the puppet master is going to get exposed. So I am not bashing. I'm just dealing with the reality is, what do y'all think about, in America? They just.
So I think it's we all got to be on point when it comes to the culture.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And that's the main thing, discipline, right? When I say discipline, meaning like if I see some trash on whatever I'm watching, I need to be disciplined enough to not go to it and continue watching it, because it's the ad dollars that's pushing this stuff out. You see what I'm saying? So before all this come down, and when the accountants sit down, I'm not even talking about the producer, the accountants sit down. Let me tell you how many eyes I got on this channel right here. How many minutes I can have them watch something. Okay, cool. I'm going to sell this to you, right? So then now when the black producers, shout out to Ryan Coogler and all the black artists that was on Black Panther, you know what I mean? Matter of fact, let me even go deeper. I'm gonna go deeper. Let me get a plot that all black people know about. The Wire. We all was watching The Wire. I know I was. I was on it every. I bought the DVDs. You know what I mean?
I'm watching it now.
So and let me say this. Spoiler alert. I gotta throw this in there. Okay. Now, when the accountants sit down and then they got the producers out there, the producers and the producers and directors have a job to do. This is how they feed their family. So they can't really be going back and forth with the big dogs upstairs about, nah, he can't say this and that. They do their best, I would imagine. So now when we go into a critically acclaimed show like The Wire, which explores the complexities of race, poverty, and crime in a major black city, Baltimore. Be more careful. Shout out to Baltimore. Okay. The portrayal of characters like Stringer Bell. Okay. Omar Little. Omar coming, right? Who defy within this whole thing the negative stereotypes and exhibits intelligence. They're the one who's showing them how to be. They're running the burners back and forth. They're running circles around the cops. So they exhibited intelligence, wit, loyalty, okay, and the challenges are harmful, negative black men and criminals and thugs looking like that. You see what I'm saying? So we have to be strategic. They had to be strategic in how they push this out to us. So people like us is watching it. People that on different types of intellect, right? And now they got to put something in there, a little seed in there for us to kind of get it. You know what I mean? So when I say accountability, like we need to shut it down. Like I ain't watching this whole thing. I'm boycotting it. Yeah, I'm gonna say the boycotting word because it's so much stuff out there that we can go to other than what we're watching now. You see what I'm saying? So I just think that we have to hold ourselves accountable to the culture. What the culture gonna be like? You see what I'm saying? Because in the black community, especially in a black male household, the culture is law. This is law. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So if I'm seeing some trash on this TV or I'm seeing some trash over it, I'm not going to support that. I may not go buck wild on you because that's what they show. I'm going to go buck wild. No, I'm just not going to support it. You know what I mean? Keep your trash over there and I'm going to keep my stuff, my gems over here. You know what I mean? So holding accountable, it's the accountability. We can't be watching that stuff. We can't be giving them our time, which equals to dollars.
Yeah. And I'm glad. And this is the thing when you just said integrity, because I definitely watch on DVD. And so they can sit there and I guess we find, you see how they look at the numbers. So fortunately, my numbers wouldn't count because it's on DVDs, but it still account in terms of purchasing.
And I'm talking about more for now with the social media, because that's how it's getting pushed out more now through the social media.
But it still would make me just as guilty if I'm watching it live, because again, they still have those views. They still have those views, you know. And so so go ahead, Vanessa.
Okay, yeah. Like Brother General said, like there's accountability that we have to adhere to, but like the social media and TV is like a drug, you see, and it's like our environment around us, as you well know, Dr. Brother Suave, where we came from, Opalaka, that's real life for us. You see, we've seen the examples in real life that The Wire expressed
Yes.
in front of your face. This is in
Mhm.
front of your face on the block, just like The Wire. But like
Exactly.
what the general said, when you just look at characters like Omar, and some people look up to that character, but you see how they also portray him as a homosexual. You see what I'm saying? So, like you said, the seed that's planted when that character is somebody's watching him, they're watching his every move, every move. So they're influenced by his every move. You see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
and also another example is in with the music. It's not just the stuff on TV. It's the stuff that we're listening to. The
Yeah.
music, our rap. You know, I mean, I'm not bashing the rap or whatever because I've listened to many, Easy, everybody from the 1980s on to 2000, but not now. The music is um all these guys currently nowadays. I feel
They
like I feel
showed.
like I feel like I'm on the video with Heavy D and the boys is like that's not music, that's noise. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I can listen to that guy. I mean, I don't want to call nobody names, but that's the current guys out there, and it is making stuff. It is making mess, man. It's like MCs like Rakim, Cool Mo D, Big Daddy Kane, half these guys that we grew up listening to that had content and knowledge in their lyrics. It's like non-existent nowadays, and that's what.
KRS-One, I had to throw him in there. KRS-One, shout out to KRS-One.
Yes,
Don't forget
yes,
about Chuck D now.
huh?
Shoot. Don't forget about Chuck D. A lot of us wouldn't even know a lot of stuff if it wasn't for him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Hey.
All of those, you must learn, and all those songs that, because back then, before the gangster rap, it was conscious rap, and where you were being taught your history. KRS-One, a perfect example. Chuck D, perfect example. And other people, like Common, before he was like going to the street side, but then he went to the conscious route, and
Nas.
yeah, Nas, but Nas be flip flopping to me
He
because
had
it's
to
like
he sprinkled it in. I'm gonna say he sprinkled it in there when he could. He had some sprinkles in there, like yo, what did he say? Okay,
it's like he got to pick a side, bro. You know what I'm saying? like Tupac said, you know what I'm saying? You conscious now, you know what I'm saying? But then you want to talk street like you a thug. Come on, bro.
But that was Tupac though.
So it's like I like not knocking him. I mean, he's a talented artist, because but just like but people getting their own debates about what they like and how they listen to the music and the culture. So, but back to the topic of the music and the entertainment and the effeminate, that's like Dave Chappelle talking about the dress and all this stuff. And you see it's like being pushed on the kids where you got these people talking about transgender and all this other stuff that needs to be nipped in the bud, really, because it's being more accepted, you see, by our society, and it's like we're being programmed to accept.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like every day you see it on the news, like Brother General, you said, it's a seed being planted that you're saying that this is okay, and it's not. Because back in the 80s, back when we grew up in the 80s or whatever, that stuff wasn't shown on TV at all.
Even the cursing.
You don't see two men kissing and all that other stuff back in the 80s. That was like taboo. If you was that, you was sat down. You know what I'm saying? And it's like they're talking about what they call it, gay is new black. Please, nobody gay was killed because they was gay. We black. We are killed for who we are and who we been and who we still are and we still dying.
Yeah.
Over what? Because we black, not because we gay. You understand what I'm saying? But like I said, I'm not bashing nobody. If that's your choice, that's your choice. But still, what's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong, and we're getting away from what's right. And it seems like, but if you're gonna be a certain way of lifestyle or whatever, don't try to act like, okay, force it on somebody. If you could, okay, you great, go ahead and be that. You know, but don't be like RP Pimp C, you know what I'm saying? Don't come out like you some straight up G, we got your boys busting up your back. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
No. You don't act like you tough guy, gangster, and all this other stuff. But you your sweetie gold dude. Come on, man.
Yeah. I think what happens is the issue that the character, because in our days, if a person happened to have been gay, he's not going to be beat up. We just say, okay, that's just him. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But I think, and this is what I discovered. You know, sometimes the very thing you resent, you become. And I think what happens is there's a hidden community resented something so much they actually became it, and now they're the ones who are in control and the media. But what I wanted to say is that people who were that way, they just lived their lifestyle. And so, and I remember in 1987 when I was doing some research at the Miami Health Crisis Center, and I remember I said 1987. I remember you heard I said 1987. I want to make sure y'all hear this. And I said 1987, and I wrote something. And you know me, I'm always thinking about the future. And I remember writing something, and I didn't publish it. And it was called Homo Thug.
Mm-hmm.
And Homo Thug was about men that appeared to be straight, who act like they really hated the gay community, but they was laying up with them. And this, remember, AIDS, 87, I said. So here it is. We trying to blame the gay community and saying it was their fault, how AIDS spread. It wasn't their fault, because we respected them and they respected us. They was doing their thing, and nobody was they wasn't trying to get all this attention going above and beyond. They just, you know, they were sophisticated. You remember back in the day, they wore it, and they wasn't trying to do all this extra. They just was respecting you, like, okay, there was something particular about them, but you didn't, you know. But the thing is, it was in their area. But it was what I said in the little article that I wrote was the homo thug who would pretend that he's straight and hard, but he'd be laying up with the gay guys, but also laying up with the heterosexual females, because they can't spread it. Those guys could. So he's messing with them who may gay, who are at higher risk. That's why HIV had anything to do with heterosexuals, because of those particular individuals who are bisexual, who are playing both sides of the fence, unfortunately. And so when I saw that, I processed this 87, I realized that it was going to get worse and it was going to be a worldwide epidemic. I want to address this right quick. It says from a mentor, Brother Wally, it said we should never have to apologize for wanting to be and further strong Black men. LGBTQ does not control our narrative on that, period. Again, thank you for your input. As you notice on Dr. Brother Suave, social therapy, we all have our different perspectives. There is no right, wrong answer. We just being open to share our perspectives. And this is why I believe in the diversity of people from different backgrounds, different perspectives, different ideologies. And it's not dictated by any particular religious philosophies, because at the end of the day, we all about the best interest of mankind, you know. And so when you were saying this, Vanessa, about our, you know, this agenda, I don't know if they realize how much it impacts our children, and it confuses our young boys and how they perceive themselves. You know, I remember watching Dwayne Wade was talking about what he used to do by wearing shoes and makeup. And this is why I say learned behaviors not necessarily has anything to do with orientation, but I think the responsible parent should say, hey, son, you know, especially when he doesn't show any characteristics or anything, he's just a child, you know, but to sit there and say, son, those are girl shoes, take them off. But they make fun of it. And I think irresponsible parents is just as bad as the media. because they sitting there not redirecting a child, and then they say, well, that child just did it on their own without my influence or tell. No, you are influencing them because you're not realizing children are doing it because they are watching you, not because they had a desire to want to act feminine or anything. They just mocking or emulating the person they see. You know, I mean, we doing it. Just if you had a Chinese kid who came and grew up in the hood from day one, he's going to be consistent with that mentality. Or you have a kid from the hood who moved to Japan, he's going to pick up some of those behaviors. So we have to be mindful of that. Go ahead, Vanlis.
Yeah, and that's what you just expressing. That's a part of the programming with a kid, because like you as well, psychologically, that a child doesn't, is not thinking straight and using his imagination and thinking, oh, they're gonna be that, even to like when you get to like what is the diagnosis, what 20 to 25, it's like you still kind of touched up here in the brain, but like you trying to figure out stuff out in life,
That's why they keep changing.
But to let a child decide, let a child decide that's what they're going to be. No, they've been influenced and programmed to be that way. And then people that have been programmed to say, oh, that's okay, and be like, oh, it's cute. Oh, look, he got on the high heels like it's cute. No, those people have been programmed to be like, oh, they accept that behavior.
Yeah.
And continue to allow that child to act that behavior out, and then they turn gay and then want to say, oh, what's wrong with them? No, it's been a process of a long line of different instances and situations, behaviors that led up to him or her going and trying to do that stuff and trying to see if they like it or not.
Yeah, it's different situations, not just one all. But go ahead, General.
I'm a strong advocate for solutions, and the first solution and the first line of defense is the daggone community. At the end of the day, and when I say the community, I'm talking about not just mom and dad, the black man. I'm talking about uncle. I'm talking about the next door neighbor. You know what I mean? And any kids, like you said, brother Dr. Suave, Dr. Brother Suave, like you said, when you see any kid in your neighborhood doing something, anytime you could plant a seed, you plant it. That's the start. Okay, that's the start. You know what I mean? And that's where the rubber meets the road. You see what I'm saying? Especially in areas that we've grown up in. Like y'all grew up in Opelika in Miami. I grew up in Brooklyn. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it's different hoods on different sides, but shit, I'm pretty sure the same things was going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus or minus one. You know what I mean? Depending on what day it is. So number one, it comes from the community. You know what I mean? Because I remember I've been, hey, come here, young blood. You know that walk you do?
Yeah. You
know what I mean? Pick your head up. And then giving the knowledge. You see what I'm saying? Not only just giving the knowledge, but reinforcing it. You know what I mean? Even I remember when I was coming up, just the look reinforced what was said. You know what I mean? It reinforced it. So that's number one. Number two, I believe that we have come a long way in media because media plays a large part in it. We come a long way not only with Black Panther, but the Broadway musical Hamilton, right? That has a lot of Black historical, actors featuring historical figures. You see what I'm saying? Leading Black men roles. Music, people like, just to mention one, Kendrick Lamar, you know what I mean? Who's modern today, who speaks up about things of this nature, right? And I want to give praise to all that. But next is this. Social media. We all got daggone social media.
Yeah.
If we all just post one positive thing about our culture. Yes. Just one. Even if it's a daggone picture of you hugging your son or you just peace sign. You know what I mean? Even I like the fellas who dress up nice and you know what I mean, they got a nice suit or they show you like different ways to put things together. You know what I mean? Like looking fly, like
yes.
Oh, I just love it. And I what I mean, I don't even have to say this, but I love a Black man just looking clean and just like, yes, bruh. Yes, king. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
reinforcing it with the tools we already have, like the social media we have.
Yes.
Not sharing or not sharing the nonsense, reposting the nonsense. That's where the views come from, the reposts. Because now I'm touching everybody I know with your content that's negative. You see what I'm saying? Now I don't have to comment on your joke like, yo, bro, you need to put this down. No, okay, I might pull you to the side because I'm not about to embarrass another black man in public. That's not what we do.
No.
You see what I'm saying? So it starts from the community, in broadcasting, but we got the broadcast power now. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
We got it now. So what we doing with it? And that's the message to the viewers and to us. And I'm talking to us because I am us.
Yes. You know what? I love that. And as a comment was we have come a long way as evidence of having this dialogue. Because it's, again, we're talking about something positive. Again, I like when you say, because being conscious of what messages that we put out there, that's why I sometimes I do a video, and that's why I'll say, if you look, I'm always trying to put some positive black male images. And that's like, if when I cook food, I say, want some? I always put want someone, the same thing, positive black male images. Because again, I'm trying to reprogram and say, it's some of us doing great things, keeping ourselves groomed, talking about positive things, giving information that's going to empower us, not tear us down. And those things are important. So again, we have to have these more positive black male images, because I'm going to tell you, I think if we put a little more effort, I guarantee we get a lot more results. And everybody decide to do their thing. I think it'll definitely change the way the world operates. It says, Brother Wally, he says, well, if we redirect incest behavior in youth, which even in a straight lifestyle, why not redirect a young person going against their nature, following a European way that we did not practice? So again, because it's again, when Brother Banner said programming, because listen, and I'm gonna tell you, one of my mentors, Dr. Marilyn Boker, one of the top sexologists in the country, a supporter of the LGBT community and everything, helped me become a person who was homophobic and actually became a little more open-minded, being respectful, because no matter if you're straight, crazy, crooked, or whatever, every human being deserves respect and want to be loved. So they taught me, Dr. Marilyn Boker, and she forwarded my very first book, Lust, Child, Children Born Out of Lust, Not Love. So she taught me a lot. So I'm mindful of that. However, people like to argue exceptions. You understand? At the organic nature of a male or a man, saying, the bottom line is we have these masculine characteristics. This right here, I'm going to ask you a question. Is 25 million, is that a lot of people? 25 million? Does it seem like a lot of people?
To me, 25, anything is a lot. 25 million, anything is a lot.
Okay, now, Vanessa, what about you?
Correct. I agree.
Okay, now watch this. I'm going to ask you guys a question again. 8 billion. Now, does 25 million sound like a lot now?
Not to a billion.
See, now you see what I'm saying? So again, the reason I did that, I could not tell you what I was doing, is because I had to manipulate the situation. So sometimes we look at and try to make exception part of the norm. So if the earth has 8 billion people, 25 million is just a small percentage of it.
Right.
So when you were saying about programming, I can agree and disagree, because at the end of the day, like Amorphidites, I believe it's about 300,000 born a year. Well, that's a exception. Consider the billions that's born a year. You get it? So hold on. And so we have to take that in consideration, learn behavior versus what's organic to them. So, you know what I'm saying? So it is going to be some people who have those characteristics that's consistent with the same sex gender. I mean, the same gender. And those are things that we can't, just like every now and then somebody's going to born with a heart outside their chest cavity. Sometimes you're going to have people with that extra thumb. I mean, extra pinky. It happens. And I think sometimes with more information, more empathy, more education on particular subject matter, we'll realize that there are going to be some people like that. And it's not all programming, but also that's why I say exception. Because again, most people are born what? 10 fingers, 10 toes. Some people don't have any. So we have to realize certain things are what they are and they're unexplained. And Sarah mentioned, she said, deprogramming and reprogramming. And so this is why I try to send those messages out. I try to reprogram and deprogram myself from negative ways of thinking, negative bad habits, counterproductive habits, and all those things, and reprogram myself for doing things that's going to benefit mankind, specifically my people. Go ahead, Vanessa.
Yeah, I want to point back to what your mentor said, Dr. Wallace, I think, Durham. Yeah, when he said, he mentioned the last comment he made about the thing that we did not practice, which is very correct. And then what the sisters you just mentioned, that's part of deprogramming. The way you deprogram is you have to go back into your history and find out who we really are. May I share something with you? May I share something? Hold on.
Of course.
Okay. Books like this. Black People.
Yes.
By the
Yes.
Okay. Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. Okay.
Bring that other book back so I can see it.
Which one? This one?
No, the first one you brought.
Black people mean everything.
You know, I'm glad you said it because we have been. Okay. Yes, Jambalaya. You know, it's funny because the world is under the perspective. Look at y'all, brother. The world is under perspective like philosophy.
Yeah, hey.
They look at Socrates and Aristotle, the new Jim Crow. Look at y'all. I'm trying to write this stuff down. And let me ask you two something. Listen, because I'm looking at the time. Because y'all got this information, y'all got this stuff, and I don't know. Y'all want to have a part two? Would y'all be interested in having a part two?
Absolutely.
Because I'm looking at the time, and we're not even a quarter done. You know what I'm saying? Or half done. We didn't even get a good scratch. You know what I mean? A good scratch. A good scratch. Because I'm just listening to it, and I want to be respectful of time. Because even the books that's triggered something about. Remember all the years we keep thinking. These two individuals as world known, Socrates and Aristotle, like they created philosophy. And remember, I got the book around here called The Stolen Legacy.
Yes. Can I say just one thing real quick? Let's just remember that back then, our people wasn't allowed to publish and patent and copyright. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of our stuff that we have created, we haven't gotten the credit. Other people's names is on it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I get you because it was this white comedian. This white comedian said white people were the kings of credit, and he was a great comedian. I support him. He's funny. He said we take credit for everything that you do. It's like music. We'll take credit and say we invented that. Hip hop. We'll take credit of that. Philosophy will take credit of that. And again, this is no kick, but we have to look at. Not the exception, but the norm. So again, I just wanted to, throw that in because it was funny how the comedian, because he was funny. He was like, we take credit for everything. It was funny, man. But anyway, Vanless, I want you to say something that you have to say, and then we're going to get the closing information, and then we're going to close out. Go ahead. Okay.
Yeah. Well, like you were saying, about part two. When you want to do it?
Well, what we'll do is we'll talk about it. I don't know if y'all guys available next week. Same Suave time, same Suave channel.
I'll be available.
Okay, you'll be available, Van?
I will. Big time. Got that right.
Okay, well then a done deal. Part two. So listen. In closing, I want Brother General to tell them how you can contact you if they are interested in services, your websites, and your platforms.
Thank you. One last thing I just want to throw out there. A lot of times, and I'm guilty of this myself, even though I'm in the social media influencing arena, you know what I mean? We don't share a lot of stuff as Black men. You see what I'm saying? It takes a lot for us to come out and openly share about certain things. And, and I get that. You know what I mean? I get it. You know what I mean? So that's one thing that I'm working on. I believe that we all are working on. Father the Six, the General, Father the Six on everything. FATHERTOSIX on everything. Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. I'm on everything. FatherThe6.com. Okay, spell it on out.
And Vanless, anything you want to share? And don't feel uncomfortable about sharing about your great food business, okay?
Yes.
So put that out there.
Okay, now you put me on the blast like that.
Yay.
My food business is on Instagram and Facebook at Juicy Conk Fresh. That's
Yes.
Juicy Conk Fresh. That's JUICYIII Conk CONCH Fresh FRESH. It's on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
That's for right now. I haven't put it on Google yet, but just doing my 305 Miami thing and the 904, and I'm just making great things happen. And I want to say this: in this age, information, ignorance is a choice. So it's been good. Much love always, brother. And I'm humbled as always, and it's an honor to be here.
Okay, and I want to thank you. I appreciate you too. And again, we'll be seeing you two next week. Same Suave channel, same Suave station. And for those, I just want to tell you, if you appreciate it and it's something you can learn from this, be sure to reach out. If you want any services, coaching services or anything, go to www.brothersuave.com for your coaching needs, trauma needs. So just look at the bottom of the screen. You can go ahead and DM brother .suave or brother _brother Suave and inbox brother Suave or Suave R Walker. And so just remember, great minds reach great places. Salute, Brother Frederick. Just remember, I love you. I mean it. Bye-bye. And you two stay on behind, okay?
Tune in and stream live now. Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, the podcast, is now being broadcast on NPN Voice. NPN Voice can be found on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud, and now on Audible and Amazon Music and anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, the podcast, now on NPN Voice. NPN Voice. Got voice. You heard? Programs like this are made possible by Neighborhood Planet Broadcasting Systems, Neighborhood Planet Network, iBlisters Digital Media Creative, and from contributions to NPN TV from viewers like you. Thank you.